All right, all right. Welcome to the QB School Live. Do it live, do it light. Friday light. Fired up for this one. Hey, yo, my man Johnny Simons checking in. Appreciate everyone hanging out for just a little bit here as we get going for Labor Day in the States. Excited for some college football. We're keeping it going. Some wild games last night. Got a weekend to the league. We are kind of fine-tuning NFL rosters. We've got all sorts of ball going on. We got high school football going on tonight all across the country. Lots to talk about. Fired up for this one. So we're going to do a little Friday light edition. My man Dylan, Brawley, appreciate you guys checking in, hanging out. Make sure I sound all right. Do me a favor, hit me with your favorite emoji in the chat. Let me know that this thing sounds good and we are locked in. There has never been a better time to get your questions in. Now is the time. We got a little Buena Vesa Stone Tall Boy. It's not the most badass can you've ever seen, too, by the way. Summer drink. Summer's winding down. Fired up for this weekend. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. My man Michael checking in from the UK. I love it. Very cool. My man. Little international reach. I like it. I dig it. Can you talk through your check with me tempo? Ooh, that's a good question. Checking in from Germany, Sebastian. Remind me, Michael, on the check with me tempo. I think we might be speaking a little bit of a different kind of like lost in translation element of exactly what that means, but I'm happy to talk about check with me. We got Brazil in the house. Thank you, Edwin. Let me know loud and clear. Coach Grays. I love it. Big time. Fun to see some familiar faces in here. My man, Sweet Jumps. Bolt up. All right, Michael. Check with me tempo. Check with me tempo can mean different things to different people. And so let's walk through exactly. I think check with me tempo usually is 2 plays in the huddle in the NFL. You go up to the line of scrimmage and you can either alert it, kill it, read over it. There's a bunch of old school terms that they do. Most people nowadays, if you're not in the league with the headset or the earpiece, usually you'll just do like what most people refer to as peak tempo. And that's what I used as a coach. I think that's what most people use. Saw it all over the place last night on college football, with people trying to hide signals on the sideline. You see everybody looking to the sideline. That to me is more peak. But again, some people might call that check with me tempo. So hard to say. But I think most people do peak nowadays. And I think it's really easy. It's great. Make sure you're in, whatever you want to be in all the time. Boom. Paul Paulo, QB room drama in the Bay. Or is it going to be okay? What's the drama in the Bay? Oh, the Bay. I always thought you were talking about Green Bay. I'm not worried about it. I don't know. We'll see. If it works, it'll be great. If it doesn't, it'll be a dumpster fire. Actually, probably more this one. Love a good dumpster fire. Sweet Jumps. Thoughts on Skylar Thompson? Yeah, great preseason. If you want to see even more, there's a video. Quarterback School Patreon community. Had over 150 people sign up last month. Last month was a good month for the Quarterback School on a bunch of different levels. If you haven't, check out the Quarterback School Patreon community. Easy, streamlined. Never been simpler. Never been more content over there as well. So get over there, check that out. I certainly appreciate it. Oh, I waterfall. What's the worst hit you ever took? I think I've talked about this on a live, but I'll talk about it again. God, why can't I think of the guy's name? Well, it's going to bother me. I'm not going to tell the story if I can't think of the guy's name. I feel bad because I used to make fun of his look, and he actually went to Point Loma, a high school down here in San Diego. Man, that's going to really bother me. Ask me on the next live. I can see him. Man, you guys caught me in a senior moment. Used to play defensive tackle for the Cowboys for a long time. Used to have his pants pulled up really high. Glover. Man, whew, I was nervous right there for a second. He smoked me pretty good throwing a corner to the left. Got his shoulder pad kind of up underneath my chest and drove me into the ground. It's never the hit. It's always the hit into the ground. I always thought that was the worst hit I took in the league. I took a couple of rough shots in college where I was just trying to be a clown and do too much and like spin out and spin into hits and stuff like that you would never do, or I would never do in the league. So I think I was a little bit more kind of streamlined as far as my ability to get smoked. La Braya. Will Lawrence improve under Peterson? Yeah. In fact, I'm probably, don't hold me to it, but most likely going to do a Trevor Lawrence video early next week, just because I'm curious. I went back and tried to watch the Jaguars' last preseason game, and he didn't play, so I'll go back and probably do what would be their third, because I think they played 4 with the Hall of Fame game. So wherever he played, I'm going to go back, just kind of take a peek and see what it looks like. Not that it will look identical to what they'll do, for the first weekend in the league, but just to get a feel for where he's at, check in, because I feel like I've checked in with all those guys. Michael, hey-o. Do me a favor, y'all. If you haven't, hit the like. Do what you need to do here. I appreciate the checking in, hanging out with us during this. Brian, no. Oh, man. I see. Whoever's got the question about Brazil, I have no idea how to say your name. I apologize. Did you heard about a Brazilian QB, Davy Belafort, son of Victor Belafort? I think he was listed as a 4-star quarterback prospect. Never heard of him. I try to stay out of the prospect game. Unless they're like a local San Diego guy down here, I'm probably not going to know much from him. DJ from Cali. I'm from Sac. You were a beast at Davis back in the day. Did you ever hang in Sac? Yeah, I went to Jesuit. I lived in Folsom. So spent some time in Sac, to say it for sure. All right. What is your opinion about starting the drop with the left leg and then going to the drop, assuming the quarterback is right-handed? Forget the name of the drop. To me, I personally don't love that. To me, I think that's like a false step, drop step. When I first came into the league, a lot of West Coast teams would teach that false step, drop step. It was communicated to me that it was a timing thing, like a rhythm, like a part of the rhythm of the offense with tethered to that like 3.5 timing for some of these throws. I don't know if that's true. I never personally experienced it. I moved to more of an under center staggered. So it was right foot forward, left foot back. And the only reason I did that, I had to really twist people's arms in the building to allow me to do that, because I was just tired of getting my foot stepped on and having like no toenail on my left big toe for the first 2 years in the league. Because you're in there in the preseason, you got all these guys that aren't going to be on the team getting blasted into your face, stepping on your foot, and I couldn't handle it. And I just finally was like, I had the biggest kind of like right foot forward stance. And then, so when I went to the gun, we didn't go to gun quite as much back then, but when I went to the gun, I just kept right foot forward to kind of keep the same footwork. I've gone back and forth in gun as far as kind of having a balanced stance, a left foot forward stance. I like a left foot forward stance if I live in gun, because I think you're almost lined up to the left easier and you can throw hots to the left easier. But if you're in an RPO world, when I was coaching and we were more of an RPO gun team, we were more of a balanced stance. I really don't think it matters as long as it makes sense to you. Boom. Look at this. We got 76 of our closest friends hanging out in here. I like it. Little Friday light. We got some college football on tonight. Got some decent games this weekend. There you go. Budsby. Checking in from El Dorado Hills. Uh-oh. Nick Larmore. Hey JT, have you ever thought about doing a video breakdown on some of the older greats like Marino, Montana, etc.? Hell yes, Nick. That is an outstanding idea. The problem, as with a number of good ideas around here, I don't have access to all film from all time. I would love to do it if someone has access to specifically the all 22, because the broadcast stuff is just, it's borderline like unwatchable with the standards that we have today as far as like the blurriness of it for me. So it's just hard to get your hands on the film more than anything else. I would love to. CJ Williams, Mitch Trubisky, Mitchy. I should put that as a GIF in here. I love that movie. Better than ever given credit for. I mean, I don't think he's been given much credit for much of anything. I mean, hasn't he been a Pro Bowl quarterback? I think I did a Pro Bowl video on him just absolutely throwing like an absolute TV at the Pro Bowl. I think he's all right. Yeah, I mean, I think he in the right situation. Is Pittsburgh the right situation? I don't know. I'm sure he'll do better than what he last showed in Chicago. He's grown, he's matured, he's seen someone do it at a really high level. He's probably in a better spot, better organization right now with the Steelers. That's it. Ron Spinks. Quarterbacks lift heavy weights, upper and lower body. Question mark. I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah. Yes. I think it depends too, like where you are in your training. You know, like anything, there's some context to it, but yeah, absolutely. I think there's significant value in strength training, just as much as there's significant value in sprinting. Silent Night. Yo, JTO. You may have already been asked this, but are you higher on Fields or Lance for year 2 throwing motions? Well, I guess I would say higher as far as what? You know, I think over the course of their careers, I think both are still on track to potentially have great careers. I think this year, I would imagine, it's not a hot take, that Trey Lance would have a better win-loss record just because that the roster in San Francisco seems like they're locked and loaded right now. But who knows? Boom! Trey Estrar. Could you do a Super Bowl 42 breakdown, Giants versus Pats? I mean, I love the idea. I could. If people want to give me the all 22 from back in the day footage, I would love to be able to do it. I've had a handful of people that are OGs on the channel reach out with some kind of older college film, and I've really enjoyed breaking it down. I think we did Patrick Mahomes this past offseason, did a handful of other guys, but it's hard to get film from back in the day. It's hard to get film from the games yesterday. So, you know, it's not easy to do. I think it's a great idea. I would love to do it. I do not have access to it right now. Master Spin 77. Do you think Brock Purdy should have a shot at the starting position? No, not right now. No. Do you think Cruz Ruiz? Do you think if Tua cleans up his mechanics, as in his stance for deep throws, he can throw deep more consistently? I'm not sure if like just his stance when he throws deep is what it is. I think it will be a combination of play construction, offensive architecture, meaning when we go through, let's just use that play action post from this past week, from the past game. When he goes to make that throw, for me, I think the staff can help him by trying to tell him to quicken up the footwork, either less drops, less steps in the drop, or different types of play action to allow him to get it up earlier. And I think you just have to get better at it, more consistent with knowing, hey, where's he coming out? What's the landmark? Can we be on the same page? You know, what does the trajectory of it look like? Because that dude's a legitimate freak. Like, he just blows the top off the defense and you can't cover someone 50 yards down the field. And so I would imagine he would get better, but is it going to be perfect right out the gate? No. I just don't. And until he proves that that's a strength of his game, which I think it can evolve into, it doesn't have to be 65 yards plus down the field. It can be a strike at 55. That's really hard to defend consistently. And then you add in some, you know, layered shots with like overs and double moves to the corner. And I think you can really stretch the field vertically. So I'd be excited if I was a Dolphins fan. That is for sure. Maybe not this excited. I'm excited to watch that dude spin it this year. See if I can jump into some questions. I apologize if I miss your questions in here. We got 90 of our closest friends in here. I appreciate everybody who hits the like button in here, hanging out. I really do appreciate all the support with the channel. It means a lot to me when you guys share the content on different social media platforms, like it, comment on it. I try to do my best to get back to all those. I'm going to crank through some questions here. So if I miss your question, I'll do my best to get you at some point. Jack Grant. A lot of quality youth quarterbacks this year thanks to JT. My son often watches your videos. We will see how he does tonight. Nice. Enjoy it, man. That's fun watching your kids play sports, whether they're playing quarterbacks or not. I'm glad that the videos help in some regard. I see some Jalen Hurts questions in there. I mean, I'm excited to watch Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts can make strides, and there's no reason to think that he can't make significant improvement, but if he can make improvement, let alone significant or substantially improvement, a big jump with his ability to be more precise in the drop back game and the down the field throws, I think everybody's excited about Philly. Boom. Nick, I have a NFL Plus account. Appreciate it though. Michael, how does a quarterback anticipate an option route? I don't see how he could unless he reads the receiver's mind. Michael, that's a good question. This is almost a video-worthy question. I need to make sure I drink this so it doesn't get warm. So it's a combination of things with an option route. One, it's a lot of reps. Okay, it's about being on the same page. Hey, if the guy's got inside, let's say the ball's over here on the mic stand. If the defender's inside leverage, well, let's just break out. If it's zone and they drop out, let's just hook up. If he's outside leverage, let's break in. If he's tight and outside leverage, maybe I can take it to the post or the slant. Then the next level is crossing technique. And that's really where you got to trust someone. That's more game planning. Like, hey, he's sitting on me running out, so I'm going to cross him up. So he's out, he's inside leverage on me. He wants me to run out, like two-man technique. I'm going to come up. I'm going to let him think I'm going out, and then I'm nodding back to the slant. Or I'm going to cross him up and come back to the in. That's really like next level stuff. It almost looks like technically like a jerk route, but it's not easy to do. And that's really why, let me whisper this. Okay, we got 100 people in here, so I don't want everybody to hear it. Okay, but when you are at lower levels of football and even on an NFL team, they'll get in a line and individual, and we'll work on option routes. Well, everybody can work on them. We can all throw one to everybody, but there's really only one or two people on the roster that are going to be running option routes, let alone the guy that we're going to throw it to on third and medium, and we got to have it in a meaningful down. So it's about the starter and the guys who are running those option routes, getting enough reps and getting an understanding about what they expect, and then just going out there and being able to kind of read each other's body language as far as breaking in, out, turning around, and then making the same decision over and over and over versus a bunch of different looks. It's not easy. But boom. All right. What else we got? Yeet King 100. What's good, JT? Been binging on your videos the last couple months. Content is A1. Any advice for someone who's trying to get involved in coaching out the gate? Yeah, don't do it. Actually, that's some of the best advice I ever got. Unless you have to coach, I'd think about it. If you're that invested in trying it, go volunteer. Reach out to the nearest program and offer your services, but go in there with a mind that, you're going to be doing the laundry and moving the bags and setting up practice and doing whatever the head coach needs you to do or the coordinator needs you to do, and go in there with a significant kind of growth approach. And, you probably won't be calling plays anytime soon unless it's at a lower level. But if you're looking for an opportunity, there are many programs out there that would love to have you, I'm sure. Michael, JT definitely meant peak tempo. I want to incorporate it. Michael, I love peak tempo. I would recommend, honestly, and I haven't mentioned it during this live stream so far, but we have a sale on courses. If you have not taken the tempo course, which I think is by far my worst selling one, check out the tempo course. It goes over in significant detail how we ran peak tempo, used it, teached it. I think one of the most important things about it is practicing it and incorporating it into your system and how you go about it. I really think of peak tempo when you're teaching it as really kind of, what's the fancy term, the pedagogy, the spiral curriculum, meaning that when you're installing something, it's always in that peak tempo mindset. It's never like, here's a new play, we're going to call it these 12 words. It's like, no, this is how we're going to incorporate it into what we already do with our tempo structures. And so that kind of ideology about how you think about it, how you teach it, how you program it, how you teach progressions and reads and all those types of things are interwoven into that peak tempo, being able to communicate it really quickly with 1 or 2 signals. I love it. It definitely deserves a video. It's a full-on course. There are, I would guess, many videos on it. And I think this weekend, 25% off all courses. So if you ever wanted to get over there, check it out. I think I put the discount code in the email today and or over on Twitter. So if you need the code, hop over there, check it out. Zach, my first couple of years coaching high school, right after graduating, I did all the things nobody else wanted to do. It was still worth it, though, when I got to call plays finally. Nice. Very cool. Oh, man. Perfect cue. What's more difficult to teach? This is a tough one. What's more difficult to teach, arm strength or accuracy? I think if you talk to 10 different people, they'd give you 10 different answers. I would probably say what's more difficult to teach would be arm strength. I think the ceiling on arm strength is usually more natural than necessarily the accuracy element. I think you can make some mechanical tweaks for many people, if not everybody, to continue to improve accuracy and arm strength. But I do think I'm probably a little bit different than some people in the quarterback world. I really hesitate to mess with anybody's arm action. Okay, so whatever, I think you can clean it up. I think you can understand what might speed it up. But I've only ever intentionally messed with one quarterback's arm action because it was just so out of whack that I thought it was gonna impact his ability to play as high as he wanted to, and it ended up not working out. So whatever that's worth. I think you can improve both arm strength and accuracy. I don't necessarily think it's one or the other. If you had to make me pick, I would say it's more difficult to teach arm strength, like cannon arm strength. More natural genetic ability, but you can certainly improve arm strength, just like you can improve accuracy. But I think you can really improve accuracy with a better understanding about ball placement, control, biomechanics, rotational force, those types of things that can really, I think, help really both. Boom. All right. How many we got in here? We got 100 of us, 40 likes. I appreciate you guys hitting the like if you haven't already. All good stuff in here. We got about maybe 10 minutes left, not even. Carlos, how excited are you about Mahomes? Allen, fired up, bro. That's going to be a good one. I'm just excited to watch football. I'll be honest with you. It feels good to have it back on. It feels good to see people competing for real games with these college games. These people have worked so hard for so long. You only get such a small number of actual games, and how important it is to these collegiate players this weekend. It's awesome to see, fun to see them go out there and capitalize on their game. Plus, fun to see like where college football is as far as scheme, talent, playmaking. It was wild last night watching that backyard brawl. My God. Those quarterbacks were good, though. I thought they played pretty well. I'd be pissed if I was Slovis, though. It's just kind of the way that to transfer to a school that's going to run offense like that. I know he ended up with a good statistical night, but you can tell what they want to be. Coach Marcus, have I checked out the kid from NC State? No. I need to. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Circle back. Anthony, I have no idea, man. I'm not a great comparison person. I never liked myself being compared to people. I feel like I don't do great comparisons for, prospects or things like that. I don't know. It's just not my jam. Thomas, would you rather have an all-pro wide receiver or left tackle? Probably wide receiver. Probably. I'd like both. Oh man, Dylan, I knew this question was coming. I haven't really thought a lot about it. I used to think a lot more about college football, the college football expansion to 12. My initial reaction is like, yeah, almost feels like it's 10 years too late. I feel like the separation for the top teams, and then every year those top teams, might not be the same team every year, but it's a collection of the same teams. It's not going to matter if you put 12, 24, 64, or 4 or 2. I think the perception of parity in college football is hilarious. It doesn't take anything. It's still fun and awesome, and there's a lot to love about it. But I don't know. I think it's another way. I'm not maybe as excited as I would have been, a decade ago for that, if that makes sense. Blunted Vegas, Arch Manning, any thoughts? Zero thoughts. Josh, I've seen you come hard with these questions the entire time. I don't really have a whole lot of hot takes on Hendon Hooker. I watched a little bit of it. I'll be honest, man. That Tennessee offense is just not for me. I'm not saying that they can't be good and he won't be good. I just don't know or really love that kind of like vertical choice stuff. It's just not like, it's what I admit what I don't know, and I don't know enough about it to really enjoy it or like it. I feel like it's a weird thing that doesn't necessarily always translate to what the guy will be able to do in the league when it's not structured like that, because you probably can't structure it like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm off my rocker. Maybe I need to watch more. Oh man. Donovan Romaine. This is a great question to end on. Okay, Donovan, I really appreciate this. Because when you're coaching, this is important. I think it's, for me, and this is just me, maybe some coaches are like, hey, I'm 10 personnel, I'm 21 personnel, I'm 32 personnel. My favorite personnel, okay, and if you watch this channel, you should kind of know what I'm going to say. My favorite personnel is whatever puts the best players on the field. One year it might be 10 personnel. The next year it might be 12 personnel. The next year it might be 22 personnel. I don't care. I don't care. I want the best players on the field. And I think that there's also significant value in changing personnels, especially for all my high school guys out there at high school, where they don't stop, they don't stand over the ball and let the defense substitute, which is crazy to me. And if they did, it would be a nightmare for those umpires. Umpires in high school are already struggling. But if you can change personnel and have the capacity to have a roster big enough to have multiple guys that you want out there, not everybody does with small rosters. But like the last year, I don't know if you haven't seen the video of, I think I did recently on how to create a call sheet. We rolled with a bunch of personnels. It was a strength of the program. Not only does it get more people in the game, I think it really puts a stress on a defense. Even if your personnel might not be like putting your best guys out there all the time, it just makes them change how they think about defense. What's the flank? What's the open edge? What's the formation into the boundary? Is it heavy? Is it light? Where is this player? All those types of things. It just puts significant stress on a defense. So my personnel changes all the time. I don't care. Whatever it takes to put the best players on the field. All right. If you have questions that I didn't get to, come at me on Twitter, come at me at comments on videos. I really do try to get, especially if you post early on videos, I'll try to get over there and answer those. Looking for video ideas moving forward. But man, excited for ball. Thank you so much for checking in. I sincerely appreciate the support. One more reminder, 25% off all weekend quarterback school courses. The link is on social media, on Twitter. I think it's QBS Labor 25. Quarterback School Patreon community. Never been cheaper, never been easier, never been more streamlined. Get over there, check that out. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you maybe this weekend, definitely next week. Bunch of videos, and we're into it. Fired up. All right, thanks so much for hanging out. See ya. Have a good one.